Hey all, Carolyn here. Quick little cleanup I'd like you to see. This is a person who only lived for a few days, well, a little over a month. And there's some things that are ugly about it, and there's some things that are not useful about it. So the first thing is, I guess it used to be a standard that the surname was printed in all caps, but that's no longer correct. That's wrong, in fact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this person's name and I'm going to put it in the normal format that a human being would write it on a document because, why not? And then we continue and then we save. I could say genealogical standard, blah, 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 but I'm not going to. It's just not that big a deal. So the second thing is that this guy died at the end of December, 28th, 29th, 30 days, September, April, June, and November. So there would be 31 days in the month. I think that it's pretty safe to assume that this person was still buried in 1946. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 1946. If that's incorrect, another hint will come that will clarify that and that will make it 1947. The final thing is this was a baby. And since this was a baby, this baby did not get married or have children, right? Because he was a baby. Yeah, there you go. That's the logic. Makes me crazy when people do the input and they don't do the thing that I'm about to do. It helps because people can't, they have to think twice about doing an incorrect merge. Let's put it that way. So here we go, plus sign, and we're going to the very bottom of all the various add information things. And we're going to say two things. The first is he had no couple relationships because he was a baby. And the second thing, I'm going to do the same, scoot all the way to the bottom, no children. He didn't have any children because, yes, you guessed it, he was a baby. So now this is a pretty looking and correct profile. And I'm going to check really quickly over to sources. Find degree of index doesn't provide a burial date. So we have no evidence whether it was 46 or 47. There's nothing really there. But that's okay. We're going to leave it at 1946 and somebody else can clean that up if I'm wrong. It's a minor error. This family, the person who was doing the entry, I already corrected two of them. They love doing this thing with the last name all in caps. So I'm fixing that. And as I do this, I see, okay, there's at least one hint for this person. So I want to look at that. Go back to the person and you can see this right here. This is a hint. So let's take a look at it real quick. Okay, he's in the 1950 census. He's 3 years old and it's in Dayton. Okay, this is all correct. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to him. Oddly, this particular census, when it was indexed, they broke it out so that his parents weren't there because he was only 3 or 4 years old. So it should list them, but it doesn't. So probably somebody added that separately because it was indexed in that way. So let's get this to save. Okay, now I noticed some ugly on his mother's family. She's an Estes. She's probably somewhat of a cousin to me. So the first thing we do is we're gonna go up to Dad and we're gonna fix that. Oh, I saw another really ugly and incorrect thing. Hang on. There we go. Okay. I am an Esty, and I think that this name got changed and used in different ways by different family members. Okay, now the really super ugly thing that I saw that blocks people from getting hints is his spouse. Well, where was it? Mom. Molly Unknown. What are the chances that Molly was born with the surname Unknown? Yeah, nil. Absolutely nil. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Unknown out and then look at the hints that were there and see if there's maybe a surname for her birth name. So we're looking at the hints Nope. Let's see, but her husband is a John, right? So let's take a look at this. Yes. Okay, so this is the correct family. And then we're going to attach to her husband. And I'm going to correct his surname. So ugly. You have to remember this. This tree is being used by all kinds of people. Hundreds and thousands and, all over the country and all over the world. So writing it poorly or putting in poor information doesn't just affect the person who did the writing. It affects everybody, all users of the tree. If somebody wants to print out a fan chart or something like that, and it looks like crap because the surname is in all caps, that's on the person who did the entry, and it needs to be fixed. And the person who is doing this work shouldn't have to be the person who's printing out a tree or a fan chart or whatever, shouldn't have to do that cleaning. Now, I'm going to see if this person exists. And here's how. She was 10 years old, and she was taken in by them, obviously. Ishmael. Nope. So let's go to the bottom, say none of the above. We're going to continue. We're going to create a profile for her and see. Nobody exists with that name. So we're going to create her and hope that this is helpful for somebody else doing a merge later on, if this person can be found. I can always do a little hunt for that if I want to. But spouse, child, parents, no parents. Go to John William Estes. Parents, here we go again. More of these capitalized. So I'm just going to continue to fix this stuff because, it's garbage. And and that's what we should all do, fix the garbage. And this is a nice way to while away some time doing some genealogical work that isn't on your own tree. You can actually just hunt up a surname or a person's name, first and last name, with dates or whatever if you want to. But I actually like to just search for the surname and see what comes up. And if there's any ugliness or anything that's wrong, or if the person is listed as deceased but there's no death information, those are all lures to me to just go in and start messing around and see what I can fix and see if I can't discover any information. This person, I'm going to show you the other thing that I do real quickly, and I've probably shown you this before. So Sophina, okay, obviously, unless she was married to another Estes, and she was not that I can see. Let's look at 1870. Who's her? Okay. 1880. She was married to a Samuel Estes spouse. Samuel Estes. So one thing that we can do is we can take his parental information, plop it in here with unknown spouse, go to the ID, paste in the number. It's going to pull him and you say, is that right? Yes, that's right. We're going to add it. And now all of a sudden, here's America listed with the rest of the family. And that's the way it should be. So there's sometimes when you add a person and there's only one parent showing on the record, you have to be smart, do the math and figure out, is this it? So this woman here, her death name would be Estes unless she had a second spouse. A second spouse doesn't show here. So what we can do is we can go to the three dots, and this is, only Mormons can do this, but we're going to go search records, and we're connected to all of these. We can get free accounts with all of these services. I'm going to go to Ancestry. It's my old standby, and I'm going to search and see what's up there. Pulls, 1880. Here we go. Ellen Estes. Let's look at this. Father John Hill, yes. And, yep, that's her. Okay, so here we go. Oh, no, I'm going to take this data over. So it's an Estel. Okay, copy. So what I'm doing is I'm flipping back and forth. This is in Chrome. I'm flipping over. This is it. I'm going to go to her death, edit, and I'm going to paste in that death information, make it the correct format, 24 December, not 24 Dec. And this is in Estill, Kentucky. There we go. And that again, fully spelled out. Then we're going to save it. Now this will probably provoke some more hints, which I'm looking forward to. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and go back here. And her birth date is 11 May of 1855. March 1855 is probably an estimate from a census record, because it kind of, in some of them, they'll guess the month and stuff. People didn't really care that much about their birthdays. Sometimes people doing the census took it down wrong. Other times people just didn't remember correctly because it wasn't that important to them. When you're trying to survive, it's really just not all that important. So I don't know. Anyway, that is all the information I pulled from here. Here is her Find a Grave record, and we can take a look at that. And we can add that she was buried in Cobb Hill Cemetery in Cobb Hill, Estill County. Okay, so we're going to add a burial for her. This plus sign in the bottom down here. We're going to tap on that. We're going to go to burial. We're going to go just simply 1924. Let's keep it easy. And we're going to Cobb Hill Cemetery, Cobb Hill, Estill. Here it is. So I'm going to boop, tap on that. It adds it, and then I save. When I'm doing this on my own, I'm not explaining, and so I go a little faster. Again, this person died in the end of December. It could be that burial is in 1925 instead of 24, but we don't have any evidence one way or the other. I'm going to go ahead and default to 1924. Let's see if we have any other sources in here. Nothing that provides other. We've got Kentucky deaths, but that's for a kid. So let's go ahead and go back to what we were doing, and I will just mess with this. I will leave you here, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up all of these with the surname. Anybody who has deceased but no date, I'm going to be searching them out on Ancestry the same way that I just did to see if I can't find their death date, a spouse, whatever. So that's what I've got for you today. Hope all is well, and I'll be back to see you soon. Bye.